Hi, everybody. Welcome to tonight's episode of Infinite Horizon. This is season 3. I had to think about that for a second. Season 3, episode 12. The last 12th episode ever. See, I came prepared. I'm just kidding. This is actually episode 13. No, is there episode
It
13?
is
Oh.
13, right?
Yes, it is 13.
Okay.
The
Also
last
71, the only number I
yes,
know.
the last 13th episode of Infinite Horizon.
But
The last
one
13th
of these days I'm
episode
just
that
gonna
Lucas will
disconnect
make
from my phone.
mistaken for the last 12
That's true.
episodes
That'll never happen again on
of
this show.
Infinite Horizon.
That will never again happen on this show.
If only it was Friday.
No, I was thinking the same.
Yeah, right? Well, anyway, now that
Welcome
I
to
have
the energy of the stream.
now that I've thoroughly demonstrated that I don't know how numbers or linear progression works. Also, I apparently have forgotten how I start these episodes. So anyway, hi everybody. Before we get started tonight, we've got some announcements that I actually did think about and remember ahead of time. I have 3 of them, and that's what I'm hoping will carry me through this announcement segment. The fact that I know the specific finite number of announcements that we have.
Oh God, we've already established that you're bad at numbers. Oh gosh, what precedent have we
We're
set?
doomed. I just want you all to understand ahead of time. We're doomed.
Day.
Okay, first and foremost, I have been talking about this for some time, but I finally have a definite, for real, for sure date for Beyond the Roll and its first ever release. This is, for those who are not aware, Beyond the Roll is our Patreon exclusive short shots, TTRPG short shots released in hour-and-a-half long chunks. The very first one is one of our ongoing series, well, ongoing now, which is Tales from Night City, which is sort of a continuation of our short shot Thunder and Blood back in December. And so this will be featuring Jace, Freeman's character, and Cam, John's character that you did not see on screen before. And this will be released on Patreon, I think on Sunday. Is that what I said, Freeman?
Mm-hmm.
I think Sunday.
Yes.
Sunday. So that's the day that you will be able to see the first episode of Beyond the Roll. So yeah, that'll be out then. And the second, part 2, will be out the following week. So that will be released on that schedule while we are also filming our next thing, which we'll talk about at a time. But I will say that folks in the Discord have, this is all I'll say about this, folks in the Discord have really weird timing. Anyway, that's all I will say about that. Make of that what you will. Anyway, next announcement is that this is sort of a scheduling announcement. There will be no In Too Deep this coming week. So several folks are going to be scattered to the winds and going about their business, and they will not be around for that. So we will not have an episode of In Too Deep this Tuesday. However, the most recent episode will be up on YouTube this Saturday. So you'll be able to see the most recent one then. The other announcement, this is one that I'm very, very excited about. We finally, this Friday on Ramblemancy, our special guest is one B Zelda, who will be joining us to talk about connecting through content creation and tabletop. And I'm very excited to have B on. Honestly, it doesn't really matter what we talk about. I'm just excited to have them on. So
Big B fans here. At
yes,
Lord.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Big B fan.
yeah. So we'll have B on Ramblemancy on Friday. I'm so excited. And yeah. To quote them, they told me that they are very good at rambling. So yeah, that's
It came to the right
they
place.
came to the right place. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. I think those are all of our major announcements. I think that's pretty much everything. Does anybody else have stuff that they want to announce at this time?
There is no power play this Sunday. Have our
Oh yeah.
brief week off.
Sorry.
I do. I'm very sad too. But again, not a promo for me, but if you're not in the Q Times Discord and you're watching Power Play, you should be in the Q Times Discord because Omar is curating poetry, in-universe poetry, and writing villain backstories from our one shot, and it's so fun. This dude wrote a novel in character. I don't know if everybody knew that, but he wrote a novel in character back for our last charity event. Anyways, it's all free content and it's all in the Discord, and you should go be there because he is so smart.
I
and
love
just
Omar.
very I do.
That is legendary.
I know.
I bow to him.
I know. But yeah,
Yes,
so
truly.
that's my
Big Omar fans here too.
Big
Yeah,
Omar.
Big Omar fans. Big Omar fans.
Yes.
Oh, I actually do have a
Yes.
announcement. I've talked about it a few times. I'm doing coffee stuff because I'm not streaming, and I haven't been for like a year. And there are people who still support me on Twitch and stuff, and that's very great of you. But you've been getting nothing in return. So if you support me for cheaper, and you actually get shit every month. So you can do that. It's over coffee. I believe it's Brooder Caitlin is my username over there. So. Cool art stuff, or if you get back at the high enough level, I send you mail, and Omar won't stop talking about it. It's very cute. So that's my announcement.
Amazing.
My announcement is tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be over on Tony Plus One. I think I literally just said the time. 3 p.m. Eastern. Might as well say it again. In a Damus Academy one shot. I'm going to be playing with a bunch of really cool people, C, Dante, and Banana Chan. So I'm very excited about that. If you like anything Stephen King, come watch because that's what the system is based on.
Hell yeah.
And next week on the 15th of March, 15th of March, Damus Academy is going to be hitting Kickstarter, and I'm one of the writers for it. So if you want to get something written by me, back it. I haven't announced it. I don't know if I'm allowed to, but all of you here are special. So I'm gonna be writing a Dracula castle setting. So if you wanna run around in Dracula's castle, back Damon's Academy.
Incredible.
Whoa.
That sounds amazing.
That's great news.
Awesome. An announcement from our chat, 20 plus 1 is 21 for those bad at math, and is apparently also almost 100, so just so that you all know.
Yeah.
That's all for our announcements, I think. Anyway.
That's all for the show.
That's
going
all.
offline
Okay,
now.
goodbye, everybody. No.
Good show.
Great thing. Thanks for
Roll
watching.
credits.
That's all, folks.
But
You can't do that. You can't do that.
We're gonna get taken down. You're gonna say that on the. Oh God, they're coming for us.
They
Stay
just can't
tuned.
handle our truth, The man's gotta take us offline.
Sirens start wailing simultaneously in all of our backgrounds. We gotta go.
You just see like this shotgun barrel of Omar coming out.
No.
The
I
laser
think it's
dot.
Drac season. Oh
Yeah,
shit.
it's not on enough watch
That's
lists.
terrible.
Let's start this fucking episode. And welcome back, everybody. And Caitlin's now unmuted. Anyway, hi. So previously on Infinite, I'm trying so hard to be normal right now, and it's taking. I want you to all know that it's taking every ounce of my. Previously on Infinite Horizon, the crew disguised themselves. I can still see you, Olivia. The crew disguised themselves and split into two teams to scout Sulan. Bina, Tan, and Syllar investigated the corporate defenses throughout the city, while Peach, Mason, and Vix attempted to gain access to the government buildings where the corporations had set up their headquarters. As they were searching for a way in, Peach and the others were recognized by none other than Axel Galt, a mercenary that had served on the Bellerophon, who was now in the service of Tamsin Trethaway, director of Silverbreak. Galt told the crew that Trethaway wanted to speak with them and offered to smuggle them into her office. Seeing a golden opportunity, Peach, Mason, and Vix allowed Galt to take them to the director of their nemesis corporation. Elsewhere, Bina, Taeon, and Syllar encountered a caretaker while they were surveying corporate defenses. The caretaker pointed Bina and the others to a section of the underworks, where they discovered a team of Silverbreak personnel attempting to force their way through a door. The crew stopped them before they could break through, but closer inspection revealed that Silverbreak had been trying to breach the mysterious door unsuccessfully for some time. Back in the government district, Peach, Mason, and Vix came face to face with Tamsin Trethaway and were met with surprise as she, one of their most powerful enemies, asked for their help. And that is where we left off. So, picking up right exactly there, Peach and Mason and Vix, there is a beat of just sort of stunned silence for just a moment, as Trethaway just sort of folds her hands in front of her on her desk and just waits patiently for a reaction.
Help with what?
She smiles, and a completely humorless smile, and nods and says, well, as I said, there have been some changes in, shall we say, the corporate structuring, in that there no longer is one. You see, I worked my way up. I worked my way up the system, assuming and with the intention that one day I would find myself on top. I served under Damian Ellis as long as I did only because I knew that one day, when an opportunity presented itself, I'd be able to surpass him. And as you know, it did. But the galling truth is that there has never been, at least not as long as I've been there, there's never been a structure to climb, because you see, at the top, I always assumed it was the board. It turns out the board answers to someone else, someone that I and no one can surpass. I believe you've met some of this individual's kin. She kind of gives you a very pointed look. You certainly threw a wrench into their plans with the debacle at the Prime Conduit. And I must say, I commend you for your ability to cause wanton destruction.
I don't commend yours.
I had nothing to do. If you're referring to the Capitol, the attacks on the Capitals, I had nothing to do with that. The thing is, the corporations are no longer, if they have ever been, they are no longer in the control of corporate executives.
Oh, isn't that a pity?
I don't think you understand exactly what that means. See, because you've never known anything other than what the corporations are and have become. How could you?
Well, then tell us.
The reality is that there's an extra dimensional being that now controls all of the corporations, and up until now they were playing some kind of game, the end game of which you all foiled. From what I understand, the plans have changed. They're not playing games anymore, and they no longer have any need to hide. The corporations are being used as their tools to achieve whatever end they are searching for, some of which is the reason behind my presence here. But lately, things have gotten out of hand. And I think this is the part you may want to listen very closely, because you see, about, let's see now, maybe 2 weeks.
Mason
Mhm.
starts recording.
Just about 2 weeks ago, maybe three. She leans across her desk and looks directly at you, Peach, and she says, "You walked through my door and told me that I was under a new chain of command."
What else?
I thought that might get your attention. This woman walked into my office and told me that the plans had accelerated, that everything that I was doing here needed to be sped up. They had me looking for something, some kind of technology apparently hidden away by the Caretakers here on Sulan. A prime opportunity, as these Caretakers are the only ones in the known galaxy that are, let's say, tolerant of the presence of other species. It means that they might be slightly less, shall we say, forceful about deterring any use of their technology. That has largely proven to be true, in that they haven't taken direct action against us, but they're also not making it easy for us to find those things. The reality is I haven't been trying that hard, because, quite frankly, at this point in time, I no longer believe that the corporations are what they were before. And frankly, my position in them is becoming tenuous. I've been stalling, looking for a way out of this. I no longer know what the corporation's aims are, but one thing I can say is that I want no part of it.
So what what exactly do you think they want you to find here on Sulan, besides what we already know?
I don't know. I've been told only that there is some kind of technology that the Caretakers are keeping to themselves, but I suspect it has more to do with information than it does with technology.
And this this woman you spoke to, the one who looked like me, what else did she say to you?
Just that she was now, for all intents and purposes, my superior.
Did she give you any orders?
It was more like a threat.
Hmm.
Can I use mind reading to see if like I can sense any like of Onira's influence, like if there's any kind of like control of her mind that's going on, if there's any kind of like sign that something has been like erased, or like any kind of like messing with it that she's done.
Sure. Go ahead and give me just be an intellect task. The difficulty of which I think will be the difficulty of which is going to be 3 here.
Okay. All right, so my edge is now 6. I have 2. That's 2 free levels of effort, right? Is that what that
I think
means?
5 would be 2 levels. So you're already at 2 levels, but
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
2,
And then
the
just...
last one would cost you 1 point of effort, basically.
Yeah, so I'm gonna spend to just do that.
Okay.
I'll roll anyway, but
All right. Sounds good.
nothing, just 9.
Okay. Cool. So, so you don't detect any signs of like tampering, like mental tampering or anything like that. You do find like a very clear image of Onira standing basically exactly where you are right now, staring at Trethaway, and her basically like standing there and then sort of shifting back and forth between that and an image of the same image, but with sort of like Onira sort of in almost like just a living silhouette of just deep shadow and those like burning like yellow coals from within, staring at Trethaway, an image that has basically been burned into her memory. You don't usually get images when you
Yeah.
so this is clearly something that had an impact on this person.
Yeah, Peach, like her hands like kind of clench around the arms of the chair.
You're all right.
Yeah.
Well, Trethaway, what do you suppose you want to do about this? I know you don't want to be a part of it, so what do you think? What actions are you trying to make in the shadows?
I assume that your presence here is some prelude to an ill-conceived attempt at liberating Sulon from corporate control. I don't have no interest in interfering with it. The only thing that I want is when you carry this out, well, maybe I die in the crossfire.
You want us to get you out.
I'm perfectly capable of getting myself out. All I need is...
Well, you're not perfectly capable because you asked for our help, didn't you?
I'm sorry. I was under the impression that you wanted to hear out my offer.
Make it.
I'm perfectly capable of getting myself out. All I need is a plausible excuse for my demise. If I were to simply disappear, they would send someone after me.
I mean,
Yeah,
go ahead, Mason.
perhaps just an assassination.
I'm thinking the chaos of whatever you're attempting should be enough.
True. We are going to cause some chaos.
There's some things that you should know. For instance, I'm not actually in charge of every part of Sulan's occupation. I am only in charge of the ground operations and specifically the recovery of whatever technology Silverbreak is looking for. The blockade and the fleet surrounding Sulan, however, is controlled entirely by High Prime. It appears that despite my many years of loyal service, I am still I think they suspect that I am not entirely on board.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, that's a shame. And
Well, for starters, I'm willing to give you some clearance codes for corporate space. I assume at some point you'll be heading there. Largely impenetrable unless you have the proper clearance. No clearance higher than mine. Moreover, I do have some information on... It's not much, but it's something about what it is that they're seeking.
Yes.
And you'd be willing to share with us?
Yes, I would, provided we strike an agreement.
Well, I mean, I think we can manage to make a big enough fuss for, you to be a casualty of our attack, let's say. But I don't know. I think we're going to need a little bit more from you. I mean, after everything you've done, we're good people, but we have a limit to our mercy.
And exactly what is it that you believe I have done? What specifically are you referring to here?
At what point in this chain of events did you realize that the corpus were doing harm?
I'm sorry, I think we've had a misunderstanding. You seem to believe that my objection is on moral grounds.
Oh, no, I don't believe that at all.
Good. Then it should be of no consequence.
Mason, what do you think? Do you think she's offered us enough yet?
I feel like time is pressing. And I think we have what we need for now. Plus, we don't know what our friends have come up with on their end.
Okay.
If you need more, at the very least, I can say that while most of the people under my command are employees of Silverbreak, some are loyal to me, and there are others, and she kind of nods meaningfully towards the door that Galt recently disappeared through, and others' loyalty has been procured through my own funds. Those people would be instrumental in the retaking of Sulon, I assume.
Absolutely.
Particularly considering that most of them are not officially registered as Silverbreak employees. Therefore, my involvement will not be detected.
Very smart. Smart woman, Trethaway.
You don't get to where I am alive without being smart.
So, as our agreement stands, we accept the generous offers of help that you are providing. And I trust that you will help us in whatever we need, whatever, I call and ask for from you. I'm assuming you'll give it to us up until this time of attack, essentially. Is that right?
I will help you in any way that does not compromise my own safety.
Okay. I think that's the best I'm going to get out of you, so I'll take it.
Very well. Well, there's the matter of the information that I will be imparting to you. I'll give it to you now because, frankly, I don't know that I have too many other options, but also because at this point, it doesn't exactly benefit you to betray me to the very people that you're fighting against. So, I'll trust in your self-interest. The only thing I know that they are looking for here is... This was not information told to me specifically, mind you. This was just something that I picked up on my own. They're looking for information on something called the Nexus. In fact, the one at the top has been obsessed with it ever since the debacle at the Prime Conduit.
The Nexus.
I have no idea what it is or what it could be. All I know is it's something very important. All production and all production resources across, well, all of the corporations have been put towards finding this nexus. That's why there haven't been, well, since the attacks on the capitals, there haven't been any attempts at seizing territory. All of the corporations' resources and assets have been dedicated to finding this nexus, and production has increased with nearly 90% of all production resources going towards building ships and automation technologies.
You can't be the only one who's noticed how awry every single one of these corporations has gone. Are there any others in your level of positions ready to desert?
As far as I know, not within Silverbreak, but the reality is that even if there were, it wouldn't exactly be in their best interest to tell anyone else about it, particularly not me.
Of course. But if there was a way to, I don't know, spread that kind of information amongst the dissenters, I feel like it might slow down their operations a little bit, lose some of their staff.
I'll be honest with you, none of that concerns me.
No, just thinking aloud. Keep going.
It doesn't exactly answer your earlier question. But seeing what happened to Ellis, I had my doubts. I was more than happy to take advantage of his weakness and take his place. But I had my doubts. I began to wonder if there was more to his going off the deep end than it originally appeared. If it wasn't just some petty obsession or vanity project, and if there might not be more. And as I know you discovered, there certainly was. But it didn't really hit until, well, until I saw my home world burning. Don't get me wrong, I have no emotional ties to the place. But that's not the work that I signed up to do. The corporations are no longer they're no longer vehicles of profit. They are now fully engines of war. Not war, more destruction, chaos.
I don't know why I asked. I knew profit was her answer.
We can all only be what we are.
Well, at least you're leaving before the prophet turns you into chaos. So
Yeah, you don't want what happened to Damian Ellis to happen to you. Do you know what happened to him in the end?
I have no idea what final fate he met. I have some idea of what drove him to it. You have to understand one thing. The creature that took Ellis was just as much of a pawn as Ellis was. It was driven insane by its time here. It was manipulated into creating, well, you. The people like you. Through Ellis.
Also convoluted.
This is a game that has been playing out for millennia. Bit by bit, incrementally, over time. You want to know what really turned me from the path I was on before? It was that. The realization that there was no structure to climb, that all of us were trapped in a game that none of us knew we were playing, with no means of escape and no means of finding our way to the top, because it was designed for us to meet our ultimate end. And for no other purpose.
And how does it feel to feel like every other person in every other world?
Don't moralize. It doesn't become you.
I'm just saying that's the kind of thing that every single person in the world comes to a realization about at some point. But
And
I won't wait.
some people's response to that realization is to find their way into one of those structures and rise through the ranks.
Oh,
You think I was born into this? For someone who has strong moral convictions about their position, you sure don't know all that much about the people that you are opposing.
Well, they don't exactly have clear motivations that are easy to see at all times.
It's never stopped me. Anyway, I take it that you will communicate in some way when your assault is to begin.
Oh, we'll be in close communication.
yep.
Well, for that, you'll need this. And she slides over a data chip. She says, it contains a frequency to a heavily encoded transmission. Comes directly to me. I've had it tested many times. It's secure.
Great, we'll get this up and running in no time then. You'll hear from us. And if you're getting so desperate that you need to reach out to the Resistance, just think about the rest of the galaxy.
I'm not reaching out to the Resistance. I'm reaching out to you.
It's the same thing. Well, we're glad to have you contracted in to our team.
Glad to be part of your little club.
Well, I think this is the end of our business. We should go, Peach, and take care of our own.
Yeah, you're right. One more thing before we go. Did this other me, did she leave a way to contact you? For you to contact her, I mean?
No. She contacts me directly.
That sounds about right.
Does she just come?
She's been here once. The rest of the time, well, it's a little more invasive than that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Something tells me you know exactly what I'm talking about.
If you see her again, will you pass along a message for me?
You want to let her know that you're on to her? Seems unwise at this critical stage. It's a wonder that you've gotten as far as you have. But sure, I'll pass along your flexing.
I think I'll just tell her myself.
Well, then if you'll excuse me, I have a lot of work to pretend that I am doing.
Good luck stalling, and I'm glad you are a true believer in the Resistance now. And I want to use impart ideal to try just to have her hold on to that just for a few hours. I think it'd be good for her.
Excuse me.
So here's the thing: to what end? Because that is sort of one of the specific things that impart ideal. It lasts basically until whatever it's intended to do happens.
Mm-hmm.
So like, to what end are you
Well,
imparting this
so-
ideal?
The kind of two main goals here. One, I want her at least committed to this like deal openly, honestly, at least for like a few hours so that we can get good information out of
Sure,
her.
sure.
Like that's kind of my goal. And also, actually, I guess that's just kind of the main thing. I just want
Okay.
her to kind of, take this earnestly for a few
Cool.
hours. And I mean that's exactly what Impart Ideal does. It's just it influences a creature's behavior.
Right.
And it's an overarching value. So yeah, that's
Okay.
that's
Cool.
what I want her to.
Yeah, and like
to
it's not. I
input.
wasn't asking necessarily for like for you to like give her a command basically, but like just so
Yeah.
that like to establish what the parameters of like the time
Yeah.
is. So yeah, that's okay. Cool. So yeah, I'm not even gonna make you roll
Also,
for that.
Peach just thinks a little bit of earnestness would be good for her for
Yeah.
a little while.
I'm not even gonna make you roll for that. She sort of blinks and shakes her head, and then looks to all of you. Her expression doesn't change. She just nods, gives you like the very like acknowledging kind of nod, and says, "Mr. Galt will escort you out." And at like almost as if somehow he was like waiting. He like the doors open and Galt strides in. She says, "Mr. Galt, could you see our guests out?" And he looks at all of you and just says, "Sure. Let's go."
Thanks for meeting with us.
She just watches once again as you all leave. Vix just sort of the whole time was leaning against the wall, arms crossed, and he like pushes off against the wall, and he just like is just like glaring at her as you and like following you and glaring at her. And she says, "It was good to see you again, Vix. Glad you made it back." And to which he just sort of like stops for a moment. Looks like you can see his fists clench, and then he just sort of lets go, and suddenly his posture and expression totally change. He just gives her a huge grin, just a big grin, and just says, "Hey, it was great to see you too, director," and just turns and like gives her a wink and just turns and like walks out the door, following the rest of you.
As we're like walking out of there, after we get out of like the hallways and stuff, like when we're not around a bunch of people in a government building, I want to immediately is there a way to transfer the like data chip info with like all of the communication that she gave us, to send that digitally over to I guess not Wire, because Wire's not really doing stuff.
Wire is unavailable at this moment.
Revorza. I want to dial up Revorza into this.
I don't know. Do you have access
and also,
to Revorza? I don't know if you do.
Is she still like MIA?
I mean, you like. It's not that she's MIA. It's that you have no direct line of communication to the rest of the resistance.
True.
Okay, then I want to.
I will
okay.
also say, just for like, as Taeyeon, I feel like Taeyeon would have at least given everyone an idea of this. You probably shouldn't do any like long distance communication right now.
Yeah, that's
in
true.
case it gets intercepted.
Okay, then never mind. I won't do that.
Yeah.
I just want to get this info so bad.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, but yeah.
Okay. After we're off this planet.
As soon as the doors close behind you, Vix's huge grin just immediately disappears off of his face. He says, "Miserable old bat."
It's a nice way of putting it.
Wow. Yeah, that was very nice.
Believe me, I had some other thoughts in mind, but I wasn't sure that Captain Triggerfinger over here wasn't going to take it out on me. Galt just sort of grins completely, like that very disturbing kind of like doesn't quite reach the eyes kind of grin, and then just continues like leading you back the way that you came in.
No, Vix, I don't think he cares much about the the character of his employer being disparaged as long as, her credits get to him unscathed. So
Mm.
Fair enough. Well, what do we
we
think
need
about
to
that?
We should probably touch base with everyone else, right?
yeah, we need
At this-
to regroup.
Yeah. Galt turns to you at this point and says, "Right. Well, I'll just get you out the way I got you in. How about that? Unless you have alternate means of egress."
Do we know where Taeon and Bina are at this
Not
point? Do we
at the moment, no. You don't know where they are like immediately right now, but yeah.
Okay, okay,
I don't think we set up a meeting point, did we, either? We just kind of split our ways and yeah.
Should we see if they need any help before we get off world?
I'll tell you what. Why don't I just drop you back in the market and you can make your own decisions from there? How about that?
Oh, just put us back in the mail truck?
Oh, mail
Or whatever.
truck's already come and gone. I had a different idea getting you out.
Oh, well, good. Creativity is not something I thought was your strong suit.
Let me ask you a question. How long can you hold your breath? And at that point, we're gonna cut to Bina and Taeon.
That's great.
Perfect. I was thinking exactly. I feel like I'm on the same wavelength. I'm very excited to see.
Perfect smash.
Good. With Bina, Taeon, and Syllar, meanwhile, are like at this point probably still in the like depths of Sulan in the underworks. If I remember correctly, when you last left off, you hadn't left the door yet, but you were like about to, if I remember correctly. Or were you going to do something else?
I believe we were still there, but I don't know if we had anything left to do.
Oh, that's actually one thing I wanted to do, but I think I just slipped my mind at the time.
Mhm.
The equipment we were destroying, was any of them like computers or anything, or was it all just like machinery built to most likely bypass this?
There probably would have been some computers there. Mostly they looked like they were recording like logs of attempts, or in some cases even possibly some observations about the door and like the basically like the properties of it, reactions to various attempts to breach it.
Anything noteworthy?
So nothing about what was potentially or is behind the door.
No. Nothing like that. Yeah.
Sorry, this was I wasn't involved in the scene, so I didn't want to pop in.
Mhm.
I just had a question. Have we heard the word Nexus before? Because it sounded like it rang a bell for a second, but I was like, I don't know if I'm making that up or if that's something we've heard that's been said to us before in game.
I don't know if it is something that you've heard
Okay,
before.
that's fine. I just want to
It's
make sure that I wasn't
possible.
like making up.
It is
something.
possible. I will say that it is very possible that you have, but I don't remember.
I was skimming notes.
offhand
I'll look more
Yeah.
during break or between episodes. But I just wanted to figure it. I'd toss it out there to ask. Okay. In all of their observations on this whatever, is there anything like noteworthy or like that stands out as like this was marked as like strange or whatever or anything like that?
If you take the time to look through it, you do find that there are some like observations on the composition of the door itself, in that it does not appear to be made of any known substance.
Okay.
It is very clearly, it has metallic properties, but it is not any known metal or alloy. That is probably the most there is. There's not even like there's even like a very specific note about this, that whatever the researcher was who was like taking these notes, specifically noted that they have no speculation whatsoever as to like the material that the store is made of. They did speculate. They do speculate that it's not necessarily just the door. Like evidence basically of their attempts to sort of, because it looks like their attempts were initially focused on the door, but when that basically yielded nothing, they had moved to instead the like solid rock of the interior of Sulan around the door, and initial attempts at that had seemingly it basically yielded evidence that there might be more of the same substance
Same material.
behind.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay, that's awesome.
If this is all on the computer, I'd like, if I can, like download as much of it as I can onto my wrist computer, just so we can look over it later.
Sure.
Someone who actually knows things about things, maybe.
Yeah.
That's really good work. Trying to think. We've wrecked everything. We've haunted.
We've haunted.
We did some really good haunting. Are there any this is pretty far in the asteroid though. I was just if there are any terminals down here that are like built in, like part of the facility terminals.
Not that you can see. No.
Okay, that's fine. I was just gonna try to poke at it because that's how the caretakers
In
found us
fact,
last time. So.
Actually, I think I'm gonna have you give me a check. There's a task here. I'm gonna. There's an intellect task. The difficulty of this is gonna be 5.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you what it's for, but you can just start listing stuff that yeah.
Edge Elite 2. Tasks involving sight.
For the sake of this, no. I mean, technically that
That's
would
fine.
help, but
Not for this one.
for
That's cool.
it would, but that's not really kind of the most important part of
Cool.
this check. So
Cool.
being able to see something is not the most important part of this check.
That's fine. That's totally cool.
Yeah.
I'm just tossing stuff out. Sensing emotions, dispositions.
No.
Vehicle driving.
No.
Piloting. Social interactions.
No.
Probably not. Mechanic.
I'm gonna say yes for that one. Yeah.
Okay. Jury rigging.
No, not jury rigging.
Okay. Stealth.
No.
I'll roll on.
Okay,
one.
so you got a difficulty 1 right now. You just need a 3 or better.
Oh man. You sure I can't stealth my way through this roll? Oh my god.
You're gonna sneak up on the answer. Is that what
I'm
you're
gonna
doing?
sneak up on the answer.
I love
I
it.
got a frickin' 2. Are you kidding me?
Oh my
no.
god. Okay. Yeah.
Here's take my XP.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I never use it for my rerolls anyway.
4.
Amazing.
Well,
the dice are
just need a direct to blow a kiss in my
the,
face.
the dice were just I guess
Fine, I suppose. Jesus, mad at me tonight. I played D&D with my Bina dice this weekend, and it's mad at me.
Yeah, that's it.
So
excuse me, I'm for Cypher only.
So looking around here, as you kind of go looking for a terminal, kind of glancing around to see if you even just see one, the interesting thing that you note is that down here, you've been in the underworks of Sulan before, never this deep, but up until now, while you've been down here, you've been mostly focused on the task at hand, but now that you're down here and actually having a chance to look around, you realize that while there do still seem to be systems down here, actually none of them look like they are the kinds of systems required for the maintenance and running of Sulan. It's hard to say what exactly any of them are, but you can tell that these are not maintenance systems for Sulan.
Interesting. Do they look familiar in any way to are they comparable to spaceship stuff or life support? If they're not maintenance, can I equate them to anything on a ship?
The closest thing that you have ever seen to the systems down here, not in terms of function, because that's hard to determine, but at least in terms of physical appearance and composition.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the closest thing that some of this looks like is the maintenance access ways of Awakener.
I think Bina just stopped. She was was probably talking out loud what she was gonna try to do, or that she wanted to try to let the caretakers know that. I think we should let them know that have finished this task, and then she kind of starts trailing off and looking around.
You good? And Tim just finished downloading the info, is about to dust to dust the rest of the computer.
Yeah.
Are you
Does this
okay?
look familiar to you? Maybe not. Maybe that's just because
I mean, it kind of looks like this is for like maintenance stuff for Sulon, right? I mean, that's what I'm guessing.
That's what I thought. That's what I always thought. But I mean, we haven't been on here before. But it's not maintenance. This isn't maintenance. These aren't maintenance systems.
Have any idea what they are?
No.
I think
The only thing I know that looks similar is on Awakener, actually. Kind of like get up close. Like, what part of these? Like, is this like tubing running through, or
Yeah.
like that kind of thing?
It looks like a lot of like tubing, and like some of it looks like thick metal conduit, basically. Like what the kind of stuff that you'd run heavy cable through.
Cable. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I got Tana, come here.
Yeah.
So hold still. I want to try to get up on his shoulders.
Oh.
I want to look close at it. Does it seem like the same material as the door?
It's hard to say without any kind of like actual like spectral analysis of the material, but like at a glance, it's close.
Could be. She's like looking at it really close. I'm making wild leaps here, and then she jumps down. And she like points at the metals. Maybe, I don't know. Could be, but I'm not an expert. But there's a chance.
That they're related. I mean, that's kind of a guessing as well. Yeah, whatever they're looking for behind the door, I wouldn't be surprised if it needs all of these things to function, live.
Syllar.
Yeah.
You've been practicing, right?
Practice. Oh yeah. Yes.
How? I don't know how your power works exactly. Can you tell if the resonance in these two metals are the same with your voice?
She thinks for a moment and then just sort of smiles and says, I think so. She walks over to the door and she just sort of, you can see as she just sort of very softly whistles at the door and just sort of presses her palms against it. And she sort of for a moment and goes, okay. And she walks over to one of the conduits and basically just does the same thing, and then steps away. And she says, "It's weird. They're similar, but there's some differences. I don't really know how to explain it.
At least
An alloy, maybe?
Maybe. It's like that." She kind of gestures over towards the door. She says, "That's more like a. I don't know. It's. I've never felt anything like that before. It almost. It's like it has no resonance at all. But this, it's the same. But there are places where. I don't know. It gave me more than the door did. But it was still. It's unlike any material I've ever sensed, I guess, before."
Do we think it was mined here? Sulon's very special, just even without, being Sulon.
She just sort of like kneels down and puts her hand on the so like the way that these tunnels are these tunnels are very clearly like carved through the rock, not evenly as like any sort of like laser mining might do, but in a much more sort of like hewn or even like maybe bored in some way.
Some type of organic. It's not like built in.
Right.
Went through it.
And then there are like catwalks that run sort of like along the floor of them, but you can still reach. The catwalks are not particularly high above the natural flooring. And she like leans down and like over the edge of the catwalk and feels and just sort of again whistles, creating her own resonance basically, and just feels. Says, "No, I don't think so. I can't say for sure because the raw, unprocessed mineral veins would be different, but would have different properties than whatever the processed ore might do. But I'm not
I don't know
sure.
what that means, but something.
And I'm no metallurgist. I just yeah.
You just talk to metal. That's pretty cool, though. Okay. Well, I don't know what any of that info has to do with anything, but the caretakers didn't want any corp people down here, and I think we did a good job at that. We're not going to stop them entirely, but we've at least slowed them down until we can make more moves, hopefully. But
Yeah.
back to my earlier point, do we need to find caretakers again, or should we go find our crew?
I mean, I imagine it's probably nice to let the caretakers know that we're sort of at a problem for now.
They might already know. They're very smart.
That is also, yeah, that's also kind of what I was assuming as well. But I do think we should keep an eye on this place because,
Mm-hmm.
yes, of course, the caretakers care about it, but the fact that the corps do as well
Concerning.
is worrying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I forgot to ask, are there any like cameras down here or any sort of like surveillance stuff, or is this like way too far down for
Other
that?
than what the corpse had put up themselves in this area, which you have made short work of, no.
Okay.
No, there were some rudimentary security systems that they had set up here, deactivated. There's probably for when they're like off duty, and like some like cameras that they had set up probably to keep an eye on their equipment while they weren't here. But
That we
yes, it's all gone
Good.
now.
Excellent.
Otherwise, there's as far as you can tell, there does not appear to be any kind of cameras or security system innate in this part of the underworks.
I think I said it last episode too. I was like, I would leave a foul aura down here too, but I don't know if the caretakers need to get in here for something, so I don't want to make them messed up. They might have more mental fortitude than a bunch of corporate goons, so. But I don't want to.
Don't risk it. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Should we go? Is there anything
Yeah,
else?
I think we should regroup. We got some information, and from the sounds of it, maybe Peach and Mason have a bit more they can lend to us.
Hopefully they're still alive. Let's find them.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Hopefully, should we just jump to where we kind of arrived at the first time we came here, like a couple hours ago?
Oh, into Wire's clubhouse?
Yeah, I think that'd
Oh,
probably be the safest place to reconvene anyway.
Totally.
Okay, everyone gonna place a hand on each
Sounds
zone, and I will just teleport to the base.
Perfect.
Little clubhouse.
That's right. We teleported down there so that we wouldn't have to walk
You
for an
wouldn't
hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You once again find yourselves inside the familiar locale of what was once Wire's primary place of residence, and yeah, we will.
I will let
yeah.
I'll message Mason and Peach being like, at Wire's clubhouse.
Perfect. Yeah, I would say right about this time.
Galt, can you turn that music down a little bit? I'm trying to think.
Here's the thing. Turns out Galt's suggestion for getting you out. So we'll cut back to Mason and Peach and Vix. Not Galt because he is not going with you because he is staying where he is. But you are basically currently in one of the most probably. Look, y'all have done a lot of stuff in the last couple of years since you found yourselves in this situation, and Mason has done a lot of has been in a lot of really uncomfortable places, but this is up there.
No.
This is up there. You are currently being find yourselves being smuggled out of the government district in a garbage truck.
Yep.
It is foul smelling, and it is it is truly terrible. And as you're basically as it's we cut back to you as it is coming to a stop, which Galt gave you instructions that basically this garbage truck would stop, and on its third stop is where you should get off. And so that's basically where we are right now. So as you all are getting out of this this horrifying smelling vehicle. Vix is like picking like food scraps off of himself. He says, "Well, it's not the worst place I've ever been." And he kind of smells himself, but it's close.
I'd rather be vented out in space again.
Yeah.
What was worse? You don't have to tell
You
me.
don't
That
wanna
can be
know.
your business. But
You trust me, you don't want to know. And he says, "Not exactly inconspicuous, though." He kind of says, "We're definitely going to draw attention to ourselves smelling like this, so we should probably get off the streets as soon as possible."
yeah, let's duck
Looking
into.
Yeah, is there an alleyway?
Yeah, like basically where
We
you
just
are
go
right
to
now
that.
is like in kind of like the markets, which is, as you recall, very close to the area where Wire's home was
Can,
is. Hmm.
is anyone tailing us, Mason?
I'm gonna do a little sweep.
Sure, give me an intellect task. The difficulty of this will be, I'm going to give you a difficulty 4.
All right, well, I'm going to assess danger as a
Okay.
skill.
Sounds good.
In investigation.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's actually that's specialized. So boom, that's down to 3.
All right. So I think that puts you at a difficulty 1 now. So you just need 3 or
Yes.
better. Meh, thank you so much for the raid. Hi.
I'm
We just climbed out of the garbage.
Also, I'm trained in piercing disguises, so it might help
You know
just
what?
in case
Yeah, that would be
we're
useful.
being tailed. But yeah,
Absolutely. So that breaks it down to 0. So you can roll anyway if you like.
I'm gonna roll anyway, just
Okay.
because. Yeah. Okay, that is a 6.
Okay. So yeah, you you as soon as Peach says that, you just sort of like you slow your pace to sort of like fade back from Peach and Vix, and kind of using your training and your experience as a private investigator, you sort of slip out kind of the main way, manage to get into sort of in between a couple of the market stalls, and sort of for a moment and sort of get a chance to observe the movement of the crowd. You observe thoroughly, and as far as you can tell, you don't have a tail. You're pretty confident that nobody's following you. Yeah, and determining that, you're able to reconvene and kind of catch up with Peach and Vix.
Looks
I-
clear.
I think that whole time in the garbage truck, Peach had her eyes closed and was like, she was like doing like she was like spying on Trethaway's office. Like in mentally, she was like, oh yeah, I just want to like see what she's up to after we've made this deal. But like in actuality, she just wanted to not like actually be present in the garbage truck.
Completely fair.
I think Mason could definitely hold his breath for a good amount of time, but definitely did smell a little bit.
Okay.
Well, the
I thought you were gonna put us through this. It's like shoot us through like the Sulan sewer system. I thought that's what it was gonna be for sure.
kind of similar.
I
Thank
knew
you.
it. The moment you're like, how long can you hold your breath? I was like, garbage truck, let's go.
Yeah.
I like that.
Good thing the only thing trailing us is our smell.
So yeah, before too long, you managed to leave the market district, not without a few offended stares in your direction from the passerby. Stares that Vix very quickly deflects by just sort of grinning, giving a very friendly grin to people, and just like at one point, one of the more aggressive stares, he walked up and just like grabbed the man's hand, shook it, said, "Hey, how's it going?" and just like kept on. But eventually, you do manage to leave the market district, entering the alleyways once again. And before too long, you find yourselves walking down the stairs behind the concealed panel in the apartment basement, down
Hey,
towards.
Bina, something rotting? Can you?
Didn't put another follower. I think that's more of a fear thing.
Anybody home?
Yeah, we're down here. Can you smell that?
Is that a gas leak?
You just
Sorry,
hear
it's Vix.
You just hear Vix's voice. It's like, I'll be honest with you, I've gotten used to it, so no.
We had to find creative ways to get back.
Like the sewer?
Well, you see, that's what I thought, but no.
Don't make me talk about it.
Okay. Okay.
So
Other things to talk about.
Syllar,
Yes.
it just goes, I have never tried before, but I mean, sonic showers are a thing. I could try.
You're so right.
She said-
Please do.
she
Please
said-
try.
And quite honestly, I need to.
We do it outside. Let's not do it in here. Maybe.
No, we don't want anyone to see us.
Well, we're not going to go out in
Just go
town, out about
upstairs.
town.
We just go
the stairs.
upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's
just
the
not
area
put
that was
the
like
in
the
here.
valves where like the hidden entrance was. Go in that
Yeah,
area.
you go up, and Syllar just like it's a bizarre experience, but
Yeah,
like,
what does it feel like?
it just kind of feels like you are lightly vibrating. Like it is. Yeah, it's not like. Yeah, it's not like a like uncomfortable experience. It's just a little weird. But yeah, she just sort of like blasts you with a bunch of like just like sound waves, basically like just like sonic blast, essentially like a very low level sonic blast. It's uncomfortable and it doesn't get rid of everything, like all the smell completely, but it makes it bearable. And after like she finishes and she just sort of like looks around and says, gives you a very skeptical look and says, well, I think that's as good as it's gonna get without an actual shower.
Thanks. No, actually, let me try that again. No, thank you. Seriously. I think I have something for the rest of this smell. And Pete's just gonna like kind of like reach into her pocket and pull out a like a little perfume bottle. And she like sprays herself with it a bunch, and then she sprays Vix with it before he can say anything.
Yeah. Vix just sort of like says, "Oh, that's too bad. I was just starting to get used to the smell."
Well, now you smell like sweet sunshine.
Great. And he says, "So, this has been a really interesting trip. Yeah. You all, as you're all like basically like making your way back down into the place."
Tail has his helmet on when you come back down.
Bina's calling him a coward as you guys come back in.
I just don't want to have to. Oh, hi guys.
Did it work?
Good save, subtle. You guys are master spies. So what'd you guys learn?
So
Do we want to debrief here? Debrief back?
Here's good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Or
let's
in
see here.
case we need to do anything else here. Yeah.
I mean, do we have anything else to do here?
No, maybe we will once we talk.
Yeah, let's see it. So we kind of I
Yeah.
exposit about the generators.
Yeah,
It
we'll
seems to be very controlled in and out, all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll say for the sake of this that y'all you do begin you as you settle in and begin exchanging the information that you all gathered. That's where we're going to take our break. So
Woo!
we'll be back in just a little bit. Stretch your legs, move around, get some water, do what you got to do. We'll be back in just a little bit, so don't go anywhere. And we're back. Hello, everybody. I want to do. Hold on, I forgot to check this before I went live. I just want to make sure all the captions are still functioning.
Yeah, I just checked to see.
Okay,
if
cool.
How are we doing?
I have not been kicked off. Good.
Great. Welcome back, everybody. When we left off, the crew had come back together and were sharing their discoveries and scents.
Ugh. Sounds
And
gross when you put it like that.
It was a garbage truck, Olivia. It was gross.
That's true.
We discovered new smells.
We discovered new metals and you
I'm-
discovered new smells.
I'm
you know,
so
we're all
sorry.
learning things.
I just my brain immediately went to like in A New Hope when they go into the trash compactor and Han's
Yeah.
just like, "What an incredible smell you've
Smell them."
discovered."
Yeah.
Genuinely one of my favorite lines in all of Star Wars.
I feel like Mason could have said that in there. We
I
don't
was-
know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
As he's not breathing through, he's like turned off his
Yeah,
his,
like Freeman just, like-
olfactory
Like
senses.
Mason just develops those like olfactory filters that just sort of, you know, like
Oh gosh, what an
Wow,
image.
that sure smells bad. Ooh,
Wouldn't wanna. Nah.
really sucks for all of us.
this
I've
sure
never
is an
smelled that
unpleasant
before.
shared experience that we are having. All right.
The rest of the stream is just this guy with one-liners for Mason just said.
April
Oh,
Fool's, the April
mm.
Fool's stream will just be that. It'll just be.
Oh my god, 3 hours of that.
Just one-liners.
Okay. Anyway,
As I said before we were like during the intro, we haven't had 2 back-to-back episodes in a long time, so we're like feeling it.
we have no idea how to do this anymore, or how to rein in any of what we're feeling right now. Anyway,
Or smelling for that matter.
Got killing
and
mid drink.
right back down to the bottom of the barrel. Wow. I'm sorry. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I laughed so hard I maybe gave myself a little bit of a headache. It's fine.
Oh, no.
Mhm.
Oh.
Okay. Anyway, I'm good now. So as you all are kind of in the hidden sub basement of this apartment complex, you basically finish explaining or describing the results of your time apart in the city of Sulan. And as the last person finishes speaking, there's just sort of silence. There's a moment of silence as everybody just sort of absorbs all of the information that just kind of was exposited to everyone.
So we have a form of contact with Trethaway.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, if we can, I don't know how Trethaway or I guess the corps in general run things, but usually with my squad, and especially if we team up with others, we have some kind of, I don't know, process. We have like a plan for if we do ever get attacked or invaded or anything like that. Do we know if they have any kind of planned movements here? Because then we could up Trethaway, and that would, any kind of heads up and foresight would be helpful if when we do try and take Sulan back. And also just a map with all of the facilities and defense they have would be great. We got a glimpse of a few, but some parts we don't know about. Like we saw generators, but we don't know what they're powering.
So Trethaway has access to the ground, basically ground control of Sulan, and is controlling some of the technology. So we at least can get information on those things, but I think she would have access to others. Anything that we want to ask of her, we should ask of her as soon as possible. She's going to be giving us whatever we need for this.
Okay. Suppose the names of the people that is under her payroll specifically, and if you can get ID of them as well, just so we can pick them up from the jump, because last time we wanted to accidentally shoot allies, no matter how temporary those allies are likely to be. The procedural like movements they usually would take if there is some kind of threat, having a heads up about that would be useful, so they can nip that in the bud as soon as possible. And a as detailed as possible map of what defenses and things we need to keep an eye out for that they've established in Sulan. At least that's what I think I would need anyway. Anything else from anyone else? I'm definitely taking this from a more tactical point. That's where my expertise is at. But I'm sure there's more things that you all would want from Trethway.
Bina's just like nodding through like everyone's things. She's like, yeah, you tell me where I should be, and I will do that because this is not. I don't know anything.
I mean, it's a tricky situation because we want the people of Sulon to be free of the corporate influence, but we can't just we can't just announce our plan to them. We need to.
They want something from Sulon. Can we maybe somehow work with the caretakers to make them think it's not here anymore? Because if they want something, they're gonna keep coming back for it, even if we get rid of the occupation.
Destroy what they're looking for, or hide it,
destroy, I'm sure it's important to the caretakers or to someone, but if we can convince them that it's somewhere else, or that it doesn't exist, or that it was destroyed in the siege or whatever, because removing the occupation is only gonna, last so long if they're, committed to getting whatever's here.
And in order to do that, we need to know what it is they're after.
Yeah.
We might need to talk to the caretakers again.
Trethway didn't know.
Yeah,
they don't like her.
We kind of found, well, I assume we found what Trethway was talking about, at least the door protecting it, and even from the computers and monitors around it, we couldn't quite tell what was behind it either, and it seems like they couldn't either. The door itself was a mystery, let alone what was behind it.
Interesting.
About what's going on here that anybody. They just sent us to go, scramble them, get them away from that spot. But maybe we could fill them in on what we want to do, and they can actually remove it, or let us know the best way to keep it safe, or whatever it is. Even if they can't tell us, we can at least, help them play a good game of keep away.
And that actually gave me an idea. Again, this is very all dependent on the caretakers, but if we could ask the caretakers to guide as many people of Sulon into the maintenance ways and things while we come in to take over, end the siege, that will help out with the possible fatalities in the crossfire.
I don't know, or we'll be able to, but we can that would be an ask that we should definitely make, even if it's but they can get in and out of anywhere.
Yeah.
I think did we come back to our apartment at one point and there was just a caretaker and there was like, see ya, and left,
Yep.
they just do that, that could be really helpful, because if we could quietly get everyone out of their homes during a night cycle when everything's already quiet.
Yeah, and that would help a lot with. We won't have to hold back as much.
Yeah. That's an interesting idea. We should definitely ask.
The whole time that that y'all have been talking, Syllar has sort of been tinkering with some of Wire's old stuff that didn't manage to get taken. And there's very suddenly a click and a hum of machinery as she steps back and says, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I think I got it. I got some of this stuff back online. I was pretty sure that, knowing Wire, she would have had surveillance all over this place and definitely would not have had time to take any of it with her. I figured this might be a useful."
Totally. Eyes in the sky.
She says, "It looks like here," and you see as she taps a button on the AR keyboard, and you just see as all of a sudden the screen just suddenly flickers, and just there are various camera feeds that suddenly just sort of pop up on the screens. She says, "Well, I didn't I mean, I should have known, but I didn't even expect this much.
She's good at what she does.
You can see as you're sort of like flicking through, there aren't obviously there's no like not cameras at in every angle or anything like that, but largely with the cameras you're limited to what you were able to see before. It seems like just from like taking a look through some of the footage through some of the feeds, that like you notice that there are some camera feeds that are just turning like they're just say disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
And that combined with the fact that you don't have a good angle on anything past the barricades tells you that the corpse, when they occupied that area, probably did a thorough sweep and like removing of any kind of surveillance equipment that wasn't theirs, um, including anything that Wire herself might have hidden or tapped into. So you don't have a whole lot more than what you could see yourself, but you at least now have remote viewing of it. So, yeah, Syllar, as she's sort of scanning through, says, "Closest I can get to the docks is here." And you see there is a feed that's feeding through from like just outside, like basically in like kind of across the street from the space that y'all saw where like the checkpoint from the docks basically. It's not set high enough unfortunately to see over the barricades, but you are at the very least you're able to see like the comings and goings from the dock, at least through the checkpoint anyway.
Okay, that's very helpful actually. I got a glimpse, well, not over the barricade, I don't know exactly what's over there, but I got a glimpse of some of the towers over the barricade, so I can probably teleport there if we do need the specifics. But like I said, I think if we have Treth away, we probably can just get the specifics from her and we can make more precise hits.
Exactly.
But this would be a huge help to be able to guide any squads and forces we do end up bringing here, from here, if we need to anyway.
Syllar, have you ever encountered their power suits?
Not directly, no. We've heard reports, but
They suck a lot. Just this would be a lot easier if we didn't have any of them. I was gonna see if you'd ever screamed at one before.
no.
I don't want to put anyone in danger for no reason, but
Maybe we could get a hold of one while we're here.
what I'm hoping.
I mean, we can speak to Trethaway about that as well.
That might not be under her jurisdiction. It sounds like security is totally being held down by High Prime.
Yeah, I mean, Taeyeon, could you like touch one and like teleport it somewhere, or?
Is there
Last time I tried to teleport a powered suit,
Yeah.
did it work? I can't remember. I
Did you
can't remember if I
try?
even tried to.
I don't know if you tried to do that with the power suits.
Yeah, I remember doing it with
Rage.
the regenerating guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did it with Rage, but yeah.
I wonder.
A couple of times, actually.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, I think if we find someone in a power suit, I don't think it's going to be hard for all of us to take it from them.
This is an outlandish idea. Okay, wait. Okay, I need a visual. Power suits. They are completely head to toe covered,
Mhm.
right? There's no part of them that the suit doesn't look separate from them in any way, like it's
What do you mean?
separate from itself, like it's all one suit.
No, I mean like there's got to be parts to it, but like
It's like a helmet and like a.
probably yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, if it's a stretch, if you can get a power armor guy without like a glove or like with his helmet off or something, could you banish the guy inside the suit and leave the suit behind?
I mean, I'm fairly good at choosing what to banish. I mean, I banished the entire ship, but not the people inside of it at one point.
That's true.
So I could
That would be really
do that
funny.
fairly easily. I guess we just need to get them without
It's a
wearing, I
very
suppose, the glove.
Specific situation, but
Yes.
that could be funny. Helpful too, but like he comes back in 10 minutes in his underwear. That would be really funny. Okay.
I could just I could ask him to take his glove off very nicely.
How much of our powers are?
I will say I don't think we've ever seen a power armored person alone. There usually is more than one or two.
Travel in packs.
Yeah, so it'll be a bit difficult.
It'd be a very specific situation in which.
Yes.
I feel like I know someone who could help us.
Oh.
Galt.
Oh my God, you're right. Maybe.
If Galt can get a suit, that'd be very helpful. Yes.
I mean, even just, you know,
asking for one of them to follow him somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Galt would be happy to enact some violence.
As skilled as Galt is, I'm not entirely sure he could take on a power armored.
Well, I mean, we'd still be
We'd
there,
do it,
but I'm
like,
just saying.
he would remove one from a pack and be like, "You follow me" or something. Like, oh.
I see where you're going with that. Yeah.
And then we have to like pretend to beat him up too or something so that he doesn't get implicated. But you know.
That sounds like fun.
Vix just goes, right, pretend.
Pretend.
I still.
Anyways, that's like back burner stuff. I was just kind of wondering, the power armor individuals are the ones that have been causing us a lot of problems, and we can't be invisible. And she like makes like meaning like annoyed eye contact with Vix, like we can't be visible while they're around, which loses a little bit of our, I don't know, that's an edge we had that we can't do anymore. And using our powers at all, they might spot us. So.
Are you saying one of us might have to get into the suit to look like one of them?
The original thought was, I was wondering how much of the tech Syllar could disable. But
that's true.
I was more asking if she had encountered them before, so she knew if that was something that the suits were sensitive to. But we don't know, and I don't want to put anyone at unnecessary risk. And then I started thinking about getting a suit would be really cool, because then if we could see on the inside, maybe we could figure some stuff about it. But that's not really the important part of this mission right now. It was just a kind of a thought trail that I followed, went with me, and then I forgot that wasn't what we were supposed to be talking about. So
you got focused on the tech side of it.
You know what?
I'm following. Yeah.
I am predictable. I never said I wasn't. Okay.
I will say we should ask Trethaway anyway.
Yes.
We're going to do these plan Bs without even attempting plan A. Trethaway might have a way for us to access a power armor suit.
Which again, what isn't really important to what we're doing. It was just a side quest that I thought of and would maybe be cool, but is not actually important right now.
Even if Trethaway doesn't have access to every piece of information that, we want, I mean, she's a smart woman. I think she could get us some of this information or get us access to somewhere where we could find that information.
Find it,
So I think that she is a resource we need to use as much as possible. I still worry that this is still a bit, I don't know, not proactive enough. I mean, we don't know what they want with this resource on Sulan, and we don't know. We know that one of these figment creatures is controlling things. I mean, what if they come to Sulan? I mean, we just need to be prepared.
I think we need to find a caretaker who will talk to us. If we can find Armus or someone like Armus or a Sulan point of contact that can actually talk to us.
Vix at this point is just sort of frowning and shaking his head and just. It just feels like there's too many things that we don't know, and it could be useful to have. If only we just had like some kind of advantage or something like that. I would feel a lot better about this, but.
I'm saying we need to find the piece that puts us above. That's what I'm hoping. If we can, the caretakers won't talk to any of them because they're a threat, and they've spoken to us before. And if we're here to help, that would give us. We would know more than them on that. But if there's another front that anyone can think of, that would give us a different leg up.
Can I make a roll to like see if Mason can figure something out?
Like about what?
Just like what Vic said, like about an ally, or no, what did Vic say? Sorry,
An advantage.
advantage. Just what I meant.
Mhm.
Advantage, and kind of just go down that pathway, like trying to think what.
Mm,
Is an avenue I'm considering, but I'm not
Right.
sure. Yeah, I'm just trying to think.
Would you like
Mason's basically
spend
trying to.
insight for that? Like, would that be an insight spend? Like, try to like.
Insight. If you're gonna spend for insight, is more of a specific thing.
There has to be more
It's-
specific,
yeah.
and
Okay.
I'm kind of grabbing in the dark right now.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I think I would need more information before I had you make a roll about
Yeah.
anything.
Okay.
I would need something a little bit more concrete.
My vote is finding
Yeah.
finding caretakers.
I suppose we can do both. We can contact Caretakers and just as we're waiting for a response, talk to the
We
caretakers.
can, I mean, we can split up again. That's always.
Honestly, I'd rather not.
That's fair. We can. I mean, we can also contact Pathway
Mhm.
on the way. Just send her text like on the way. I'm trying to find.
Mhm.
some-
Let's stick together this time.
Okay. Where have any of us in our movement through Syllar over the last however long we've been here seen caretakers aside from where we ran into the one in the?
I mean, yeah, they're sort of a ubiquitous presence throughout
around. We didn't
Sulan.
see-
Yeah.
Any like there a couple more than one at a time or anything like that where it might be like where they might be moving through right now or anything? Any insight on that? Like.
I mean, that's not an uncommon sight to see.
Okay,
It's like
okay.
they're not always going off by themselves. Like you'll
That's
often
fair.
see like
Well, that
whole
makes sense.
crews of them just sort of like, yeah.
Should we just go down the maintenance tunnels maybe and just see if we can flag someone's attention? They found us.
Yeah.
The one who found us seemed concerned that we were accessing the panel and then maybe recognized or something. It was an interesting reaction. I don't know if it was they knew who we were right away or they didn't know who we were and that was alarming and then they did realize who we were.
If you recall, your accessing the panel did trip an alarm, some sort of silent alarm.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I was like, yeah. So they came running to see what the alarm was. That was their alarm. Where was that? That was in an area we were told not to go back to, right?
I think it was like outside of that area, but yeah.
Yeah, I think we'd already left by then. Yeah.
If I am aware of systems similar to this, do I think that that was like a thing that resets, or is that I've triggered it and it's like?
No, I mean it probably is a thing that gets reset.
Can we go back? Can we go back there maybe and just see if we can get someone's attention?
Yeah.
Those tunnels?
Just above game, how tall are those tunnels? Is it like me and Bina are short, but
In
Mason
which
with
tunnels?
Mason and the
maintenance
tunnels were.
where I access the panel.
You were street side when you did that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought we had like
Mm-mm.
stepped in the
No, I remember
inside the
that.
door.
No,
of the
no,
tunnel.
you were
Okay.
you were street side when you did that, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, probably don't want to teleport in broad daylight then. Yeah, let's
I
head
don't know
back
why I
there.
thought that like the terminal was inside of a door. I don't know why I was picturing that. Okay, yes, we can go there. And then,
Sounds good.
okay.
Yeah, I guess we head over.
Yeah.
there.
We go.
Yeah.
Vix and Syllar it might be a good idea that to leave some of us here to
Yeah.
keep an eye out on things.
Yes.
Maybe give you a heads up if anything starts looking suspicious.
Good call. Can I see Oh, Syllar was with us. She knows where we are. I was gonna be like, can I point out where we are on the screen? But Syllar was with us.
Mhm.
She knows where we're going.
Yeah. Okay.
And definitely while we're going, I'll just send like a block of text of the stuff I want from Trathaway to Trathaway, like detailed map of the defenses and things like that is placed around Sulon by the corpse. If you can, power armor, so you can figure out how to disable those or deal with those quickly. And the at the very least practice procedure that the corpse security wouldn't likely go through should they be attacked or shown any form of resistance. And I'll send that. I'm assuming that's what the Trathaway gave Peach, a way to contact her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'll use that to send it to Trathaway.
Okay. Yeah. you just get back a response that just says, "Oh, goody, a wish list," and that's it. Like the no other response.
Yep, good.
But yeah, so the four of you are going together, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Yes.
We'll probably walk separately, like staggered.
Yeah.
Like 2 on one side of the street, 2 on the other, like up forward, just to like.
That's all right.
Just cause.
I just have in my head that scene from The Good Place where Eleanor's saying like we should all walk separately so that we don't draw attention, and they start like they split off and then they like come back together. it's like oh, you guys are the worst. Let's go and like
Pretty much.
Love it.
I love that.
3 meter spread.
But yeah, you head back topside, and it's easy enough to navigate back to that spot. Heading back there, you find the panel is oops, that's way too loud. I'm so sorry, everybody. Hold on a second. I forgot to adjust volumes. Yeah, you find the panel is there. It has been closed once again. And yeah, there's no.
Oh, it's closed. That's why I thought it was inside of doors, because I thought it was because there's a closable aspect. I see.
Yeah. So yeah, you don't see too many people around, other than just sort of like the odd straggler here or there.
Okay. I cracked that bad boy open.
Okay. Yeah, you open it, and once again, immediately, like the little blinking light.
I'm just gonna like tap at random like parts of the interface just to like look like I'm doing home settings, back to home,
Yeah.
navigate to brightness levels. Like
Probably just like a couple of minutes go by, and you see, you hear that sort of like clacking, skittering sound of like the caretaker as it rounds the corner, sees you standing there, and like approaches you very slowly, and looks at what you're doing, then looks back at you, and just sort of head, like sort of tilts.
all right, I don't know. This is like bothering you guys. We didn't really know how to get directly in contact with you. Are we like away from stuff, or?
I mean, you're not like right in the middle of the street or anything like that. I would like this is sort of like a. You know how like when you're like if you're like just sort of going around town, every once in a while you'll find these like power substations that have like like transformers and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Like it's that
I
kind of thing, but it's basically like Sulan's version of that kind of thing, right? Where it's
kinda,
like
tucked away, like it's not. Yeah, you see, there's just
Yeah.
a little bit of foot traffic over here. Okay.
yeah, not much, but it's like not foot traffic in this place. It's foot traffic
Yes.
around it.
Around.
Like yeah.
Yes. Okay. And then I'm. Bina is whispering. Caitlin will not, because my microphone gets
Mhm.
testy. Okay. We got all the guys away from the door downstairs, which I hope was what you were asking. I'm assuming it was. That's good.
The caretaker
stay
reaches
for a little
past
bit?
you and closes the panel, and then
I'll
just
flip
like
the latch. So like I'm
I
helping.
love him so
Um,
much.
We have some ideas on how to help with everything else, and we wanted to talk to you guys how to make sure to not step on your toes, how to best help you, and maybe some other information that maybe knowing maybe what you don't want us to know, so we don't go looking for it. Does that make sense? Do you have a hive representative that we could talk to? That's what I'm asking.
The entire time that you've been talking, the caretaker has been re-securing the console, and has like
Sorry.
not been looking at you.
That's
But
okay.
like yeah, you've been talking, and then you see as the caretaker turns towards you, it like regards you with its multifaceted eyes, and then just sort of regards you for a moment, and then just sort of turns around and just goes back the way it came.
We're gonna follow you, okay? And I'm gonna go.
We're gonna follow you, okay?
Mina's gonna go.
Oh,
go
okay.
after them.
This is
Yeah, Tayl's gonna crawl in and follow.
Yep. I'll
And they went down the street or down a tunnel.
No, just around the corner. Yeah, down
They're
the
around the
street.
corner.
Around
Yeah,
the
no,
corner,
Mina
okay,
can
yeah.
follow them. Yeah.
Cut to like back in like in Wire's old haunt. Vix and Syllar just sort of sitting there watching this whole thing play out, and Vix goes, "You think they know what they're doing?" And Syllar looks at Vix and says, "Do you want me to answer that truthfully?" He goes, "I think you just did." And then we'll cut back to
Good. Yep.
as you you pursue this caretaker, who like every once in a while will like look back and note that you were there, but like doesn't seem perturbed by your following. Yeah, the caretaker begins sort of
I told them we were following.
yeah, the caretaker begins meandering through the streets, and then at one point, finally, like seemingly at random, not like at random in the sense that it's like trying to shake you or anything like that, but like more that it's like going about its duties. At one point, it stops, and you think you've arrived at some sort of destination, but then you just watch as the caretaker like opens up another panel and just sort of begins like just sets up an automatic like routine check, closes it, secures it once again, and proceeds. About the third time that this happens, the caretaker reaches for the panel and then stops very suddenly and veers in a different direction. Yeah.
We veer as well.
We've
Does it seem like they're trying to be sneaky or like they're trying to get away from us?
It's not like the caretaker's juking you or anything like that. It's
Yeah,
just
okay,
like,
okay, that's what okay, cool.
it looked like the caretaker. Like you've seen
ankle
it,
breaker.
You've seen the caretaker stop and like go through this process like several times already, and as it's about to repeat the process, very suddenly stops, puts its hands down, turns, and just immediately just starts at the same pace that it was going before, pursuing like going in a different direction, away from this panel. As you follow the caretaker, eventually it leads you to a bit like a cluster of warehouses. They look like sort of like storage units more than anything. And as you approach, the caretaker leads you to one of them, which you see the outside like has basically been like the sort of rolling door has basically been replaced entirely, with an actual door. And as you approach, or as the caretaker approaches the door, you see that they slide open, and immediately inside, revealing, it's not like intended to be secret or anything like that. It literally looks like it was just something that was retrofitted out of this like storage. But you can see immediately what appears to be just like a set of stairs that go down, to presumably, from what you can see from here, just sort of looking down, presumably into like the maintenance tunnels. This is apparently one of the caretaker's access points to the surface. And as you watch, the caretaker steps inside, steps to the side of the door, and then just turns and looks at you.
Okay. Thank you for inviting us in. And Bina's gonna start. Is gonna walk in.
Yep, time follows.
Yeah. As the four of you step inside, the doors close behind you, and the caretaker just sort of pushes past you and goes down the stairs. Following in, it is indeed the maintenance tunnels, or at least a similar area of Sulan, because as you proceed, you find that you're not seeing any of the like monitoring equipment or terminals that you would expect to see in some of the underworks. This looks much more like just sort of access hallways. And as you're making your way through this area, you go on, kind of taking, like, following the caretaker straight ahead. You reach an area that sort of opens out a little bit more. And as you step out into this area, you can actually see that there are dozens of caretakers sort of passing through this area. Most of whom take no notice of any of you as they're sort of proceeding on along their paths. But you do note that as you step into this area, the caretaker that you're following, without another word, suddenly picks up pace and just sort of turns and joins a stream of them that are sort of like going and out, and just fully disappears from your sight.
Seems like we're
guess-
almost there.
Question. I don't know if I've spent a ton of time surrounded by caretakers, if at all. What does it feel like?
It feels strange because at once you are feeling like multiple presences, but also one.
Yes. Okay.
It's very weird, kind of disorienting, a little bit like signal feedback. It's not uncomfortable, but it is
Odd.
strange and it is disorienting.
Yes.
But it's not the loud cacophonous feeling like impressions that you got from the collective that you encountered. But as you you kind of sort of stare around, none of the caretakers taking any notice of you whatsoever, other than to move around you as they pass. It's just like about a minute or so of just sort of standing in this area, not sure exactly where to go.
Bina's decided to wait and to be picked up. That's their decision.
It doesn't take long before you see another figure walking towards you. One that you actually do recognize. This is
Aramis?
who you can see Aramis as opposed to when you last saw him. First of all, is conscious.
Yes, good.
But secondly, also has some just sort of like some scarring from like blasts that he endured during the events, but otherwise seems mostly has that very same sort of placid expression on his face as he approaches you, and inclines his head and says, "Welcome.
Hello.
I am under the impression that you have been looking for us."
Yes, and I'm very sorry about that. I don't know if that's a social caretaker faux pas, but we're here to help, we hope. And we just want to make sure that we're not doing it wrong or messing with any of your stuff, and that we're helping each other to the best of our abilities if you would like to help or our help.
Of course.
Yes.
And I have been instructed to pass along Sulan's thanks for ridding the the area in question, the area that you visited, of corporate presence, at least for the time being.
They'll probably try to come back, but
Oh,
They're
undoubtedly
very-
so.
how long have they been down there trying to get at it?
It took them some time to find an access location. They haven't been down there probably more than perhaps a week, maybe two.
Okay. Are there more spaces that they're poking around at, or is
Not-
that what they're looking for?
There are many places that they are searching, but they mostly abandoned their search once they found the one location. Preferring, apparently, instead to focus their efforts on breaching the door.
Okay.
We're hoping to end the siege. Obviously, Sunan's been a good friend of ours, so it's only fair that we be a good friend back. But whatever is behind this door, it seems one of the higher ups that are in charge of capturing Sulon had been specifically instructed to find it. So there is a chance that even if we do end the siege, they will come back. And the idea Binoba had was that we somehow trick them into thinking it's not here anymore. But we realized we can't exactly do that without knowing, or at least having some idea of what's behind the door. Of course, that seems to be a very closely guarded secret. So do you have any idea of how without us needing to know how that can be done.
I'm afraid that is quite impossible. The thing that they seek here is information, specifically information as to not only the location, but how to reach the Nexus.
The Nexus.
You mentioned that.
What is the Nexus? Can you try to explain it to us?
It's difficult to understand, but from what, well, Sulan understands, and therefore we understand. It might be difficult to explain to you, but from our understanding of Sulan's knowledge of this thing, the Nexus is something of a connecting hub where all of the conduits draw their source. It's the source of the conduits. It's the source of the conduits. The
They're
Nexus,
still trying to figure out how to make their own conduit.
perhaps, but that is not the true power of the Nexus.
They might want to harness it for something else.
Yes, most likely.
Okay, well, I think that means we're gonna. Yeah, this doesn't seem like something we could hide or destroy. We might have to just end the siege and just keep it as secure as we can.
Have they been bothering the caretakers of Sulan?
They attempted to interfere with some of the caretakers initially, but quickly realized this was a fruitless endeavor.
Good. That's good that they leave you alone. Okay. Does the Sulan Collective have anything in particular that an idea? Something that we can do, anything that we can help protect in particular? Or the door downstairs, is that the only area on Sulan that we need to be worried about them finding?
There are others, but they are more difficult to find. Not only that, but they will likely have as much success in the time that they have left as they did with the initial location.
If this information is so dangerous to fall into the hands of any of these people, then why can't we just destroy the information? I mean, you people would know where it is, right? So you have that knowledge yourself. So why does it need to even still be out there?
The knowledge they seek is the knowledge we possess.
I'm not entirely sure if we all understand what you mean by. So does the door hide or protect the Nexus, or a form of the Nexus, a way to access the Nexus itself, or just the information needed to access the Nexus?
The door protects Sulan.
And Ceylon has the information.
Correct.
Okay.
Will they be able to breach it? Is that something?
Given enough time, yes.
Okay. We need to make sure they don't have that time, and to keep them away. How much access do you need to those? Do caretakers go in and out often, or is that the doors exist merely as a fixture of an entrance and it's not used?
Sorry, say again?
Do the doors exist just as like a fixture of an entrance, or are they actually used?
Sometimes, some of the doors are used. The collective the Hive knows which are the least risky to access at any given time, and redirects if necessary. But as it stands, caretakers currently are the only ones capable of accessing the doors.
Good.
I know we're asking a lot of you, but there is also another thing that we would like, if possible. Like we said, that we are going to end this siege, but we don't want any of the citizens to get caught in the crossfire, and we're hoping when we send the signal, when we start this, I suppose, revolution, if you could help guide the citizens of Sulon, of course, not just the caretakers, but the people living within it as well, into some maintenance ways and hatches, just so that we can go all out if need be. Last time we wanted to get anyone innocent caught in the crossfire, and this is the only way we could think of protecting everyone.
Long ago, Sulon dedicated itself to the preservation of those who sought shelter within the asteroid. This is no different.
Thank you. That takes a lot of weight off all of our shoulders.
Sulon believes that it would be more prudent to begin the evacuation of those citizens immediately, slowly, so as not to draw any attention, just a few at a time.
Whatever works best.
Sounds
for
good.
you. You're the experts on the asteroid. You know how everyone moves. You know the people here. You know the place. This is your operation.
Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to get that across.
Yes.
Bina, you seem to have another thing you wanted to bring up?
I'm just trying. Think. Like protecting Sulon. But how do we keep them away? We can drive out this occupation, but how do we make sure that they don't care to come back? Either it's not worth it to come back, or... And since the thing, we can't fake that it's not here or fake destroy it or something. How do we make it not worth it to come back?
The only way is for too many forces to be needed to come back. If we make... At the end of the day, everyone knows that Sunan's has a relationship with the resistance. So why not make this of some sort of base? If we have personnel here and enough of them, it should deter a lot of them.
There's so much corporation, though. They have to know we're not that big.
If we may, Sulon recommends that the one who seeks the Nexus, they will seek it with every ounce of their attention and concentration.
Yeah.
They will never stop. And if need be, they will wait for time to crush the resistance.
Yeah. These things have been working from what I said, billions of years. I don't think even our lifespan will be more than really a second of waiting for them.
What Sulon suggests is that liberating the asteroid should be the beginning of the end of all of it. There is no way to ensure the safety of Sulon or of the Nexus other than to ensure that the one who seeks it can no longer do so.
I agree. This has to be an aggressive move. It's not defensive anymore.
We make this move and then we have to move quickly again. We have to figure out where we go next. We can't just do this and then lie low again. We have to free Sulon and then we have to end all of this. once and for all.
This Nexus, what kind of power would that even generate?
Sounds like an incredible amount.
So then how is it hidden?
So the caretakers make it very good at keeping secrets about the conduit secret.
I mean, we don't
So
even
I
know.
assume they did their job.
I mean, we don't even know, just as a society in the galaxy, where all the conduits are. Most of the galaxy isn't even known to our quadrant and a half.
Suffice it to say that the path to the Nexus is difficult to traverse, and more with many naturally occurring defenses, but also the travel to it is, well, the secrets of travel to the Nexus have been lost to all those besides the hives.
A lot we don't know about the galaxy. It's very, I guess, easy to think that we just haven't encountered it, especially if it's trying not to be found.
Once when I was here before on Sulan, I reached into the mind of a caretaker, and I was so the number of voices I passed out. Are the caretakers' mental defenses strong like that at all times?
We carry the mental fortitude of many. So.
Okay.
You see as Aramis opens his mouth to speak again and then suddenly stops. And for the first time, you see his expression change, where there's almost a flicker of concern over his face as he sort of frowns and just says. He looks back up at all of you and just says, "You must hurry. The Dark One has returned." At this exact moment, you get a crackle of comms, and Vix's voice comes over and says, "Hey, we have a bit of a problem here.
What are you seeing?
Peach, she's
Is
here.
it her?
We just saw her leave the checkpoint."
All right, we're on. Checkpoint is where's the checkpoint again?
The checkpoint's at the docks.
Okay.
Do we leave?
I think we need to leave. Like leave.
Leave. So that she doesn't know we're here and
I
go
can-
make our real plan?
She's here to take the information of the Nexus. If
They don't have it, though.
We cannot do anything on our own right now.
No, we can't. There's the four of us. No.
We have to leave and recollect and replan.
Is she with anyone, Vix?
Some really rowdy and rough-looking sorts.
Can you send a picture?
1 second.
Screenshot?
Do we give Trethway a heads up?
You get.
I'm sure she knows.
You receive an image, which is very clearly just like captured from the camera feed, of very obviously Oneira walking through the checkpoint, with a group of individuals that. I mean, rough is a good way of putting it. These look like very unscrupulous, unsavory types. She looks like she's basically walking with a group of like
mercenaries.
Yeah, like mercenaries, but definitely like mercenaries of some sort. Yeah, they look very, very like a really rough types.
up for stalling still, or is this about to become a problem?
I don't know. I really don't know. If we're going to go into this and confront Onaira, we have lost all forms of surprise when we want to end this siege.
Wait, she can't know we're here, right? We have to go.
That's what I was thinking too.
I mean, Trethaway knows we were here, and if Trethaway knows we were here, she knows we're here.
Honestly, sounds like more of a reason for us to regroup then.
I turn back to Aramis. Are the Sulan caretakers capable of, keeping her out of their, hive? That's not going to be a problem, right?
I mean, that's essentially what I asked before. Yeah.
What you asked for was you asked about was mental defenses.
Oh, okay. Well, I was asking. I guess
That's
I was
what you asked about. Those were your specific. Aramis says, while your abilities are new to you and to others of this time, they are not unknown to us. We have long since had defenses against this type of thing. We can hold out against her if she should try anything.
Okay.
But
we'll hope she doesn't bother you, but we'll be back for you soon.
Understand that even our defenses were not intended to be permanent.
We won't make you wait long.
If I'll give Aramis my number, I guess. When you have everyone, or you're at least close to everyone being evacuated and sent into the little hideyways, let us know, and we can coordinate the hit on time.
He basically takes the information that you give him. Says, very well.
We should get back. I can take us back to the clubhouse and take us from there back to Awakener.
If you get into any trouble, send us a SOS.
There is one other thing that Sulan would like me to tell you.
Yes.
Perhaps around the same time that we had left and scored our victory at the Prime Conduit, something was detected. Sulan heard, that's the best way I can explain it, heard a voice that was familiar, but long lost. Just shortly after we all left.
Okay.
I can't say much more than that, but what I can tell you, Sulan's thoughts are confusing on the matter. What I can tell you is where you might find the source of this disturbance.
That would be perfect, actually, yes.
You can see as he pulls up his own terminal and just sort of swipes across information to yours. You see coordinates.
Okay, thank you.
Looking at it, it looks like bringing it up on your database. It looks like there's a planet, largely deserted, but it is somewhere in kind of on the edge of. Sorry, I'm trying to remember. I think on the edge of Commonwealth space, just sort of toward, but kind of more sort of coreward.
Okay, we'll look into this. Would not be surprised if it's related.
Was that anywhere near where I don't remember where that.
It's on the same side of the galaxy. Yes, it's
sick. Okay.
In that direction, which is actually puts it not actually that far away from Sulan.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well.
We will We'll work as quickly as we can, yes.
We shall begin preparations for the civilians.
Thank you. Okay.
Stay strong, Sulan.
And the same to you. Without another word, Aramis turns and walks back the way that he came.
Everyone, hand on me. And I'll teleport us back to little clubhouse.
All right. Yeah. You arrive there, as immediately facing down the barrel of Vix's rifle, and then he goes, "Oh, sorry. Just
No, you're good. This actually honestly brought me back. This is exactly how I met everyone else when I teleported into here. I had a gun to my face as well.
He looks down and says, "Oh, well, old time's sake, I guess then."
We gotta go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hands.
He says, he goes, "Syllar, shut that all down. We want no trace of any of this anywhere on their systems."
Where was she last when you saw her? Was she heading towards?
Looks like she was headed towards the government center.
That
Yeah.
sounds about right.
Gonna go talk to Trethaway, who will hopefully keep stalling.
Yeah. Okay.
Go.
You can tell like Taylor definitely getting a bit tired.
Yeah.
With the teleportation.
Syllar
He
just
has
immediately
enough
is like
for-
unplugging stuff and like turning shit off, and yeah.
Okay. It's probably the larger amount I can do before I just need a nap.
Honk out, yeah.
And yeah, he would
Yeah.
use traverse walls to
Yeah.
jump us to.
As you're doing that, getting ready, Vix goes, maybe a terrible time to ask, but like if the ship's not in the same place as it was before, I mean, is that gonna and then you just
Back to space.
with that, you once again watch as space folds in on itself, bridging the distance across the galaxy to the last known location, literally actually on the complete other side of the known galaxy, and suddenly you find yourselves stepping out onto the deck of the hangar of Wire's ship. Vix goes, he like sort of stops and looks around and says,
Ooh.
"I wasn't worried. I was not.
Oh.
I'm gonna go
I
take a
would be
shower."
honest, we're a bit off than I expected, but in a good way. So don't need to worry about that. I'm gonna sit down.
Are we in the border world right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Jesus. Okay.
Yeah. Technically, you're still in orbit above the Usurper's planet.
Yes.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Yes, that's right. Okay, I was like trying to place where we. Yes.
Yeah. So, you see immediately looking around you see Jade is not that far away. With Alma, like just sort of they have like basically some of the hull plating removed from the underside of Awakener and are like tinkering on the inside. Jade looks over and he goes, "Hey, they're back." And
Hey,
yeah.
We have a lot to tell you.
Yeah. And he just opens up a channel and says, "Becker, they're back." And you just hear Becker's voice come through. It's like, "All right, send them up to the bridge."
Okay.
Let's go.
we're walking. I'm not
Yeah.
delivering.
Yeah.
No, don't. No need. You already done a lot.
Yeah. Jade and Alma like close up with the paneling, sort of set it in a place where they can kind of pick up where they left off and just follow along. Alma falling into step beside you, like pulling off her like work gloves. Goes, "So I take it this is a mixed bag as usual."
When is it not?
Yeah.
Pretty
But
much.
I mean, we know more than we did before we left, so I'll take that as a win.
That's good.
Just we also know some things that kind of suck a lot. So
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
No injuries, though.
No injuries. Yeah.
Well, April will be happy then.
Mhm.
You make your way up to the bridge where you see Becker is there along with pretty much everybody else who has like basically they're like assembling at this point with apparently the word got around. Notably, Wire is sort of standing toward like sitting far to the back corner of the bridge and is just sort of
Gorgeous.
like laser focused on some of the displays that over there, and is just like not paying attention to anybody. Zaya is sort of standing right behind the chair that she's sitting in, watching her over her shoulder, and gives you a very like sort of half-hearted like welcome when you return. Becker looks at you as you arrive and says, all right, so what do we got?
Hopefully we're gonna have let me go tactical real quick. Hopefully we'll have a more better layout of Sulon and what defenses they put up soon. But the main thing we do definitely need to tell you is that we have an unsteady alliance. I mean, it's steady, but an unexpected alliance with Trethaway.
There's silence, and Bina, you feel like a wave of like that rage from Wire that is just sort of like is here now, like just sort of like present and just sort of simmering under the surface, just sort of bubble up. Doesn't fully explode out, but you can feel it bubble up a little bit as she just sort of like slowly turns from what she's doing to like now is paying attention. Becker goes, well, I am not going to ask what you had to do to secure that, but we'll take whatever assets we can get at this time.
Yes.
That's really, that was kind of it.
Yeah, so they're going to hopefully give us a layout of the defense that they set up. Trethaway wants out, basically. She's starting to catch on that there's a bit more going on with the corporations that she doesn't want to be involved with. No, not for any moral reasons from what Peach told us anyway. More self-preservation.
Okay, so does this mean we're getting ready to make a move on Sulon?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
We've talked to the caretakers, and they're going to be slowly evacuating the people of Sulon into any maintenance ways and hatches that they can, so we don't have to hold back too much when we do get in there. We have some, again, through the unexpected alliance, we have some people on the side of the corps that essentially double agents, I guess. So we have people that can hopefully dismantle some things from the inside once we start working. I think that's as much as I can think of when it comes to the actual battle that will be coming around. Sure. But Peach and Bina probably have a bit more when it comes to everything else we learned.
Huh?
Docks and the entrance.
I didn't catch the beginning of what you said.
We got a good look at the docks and the entrance. They've installed turrets. So if we're gonna take anyone in the normal way, we kind of know what's up. There's a lot of security drones around, but we think the hub is
that reminded me, actually.
in the that entrance. We've been there. Olin was in there last time we had to do something ridiculous like this. So we know where that is hypothetically.
I took some pictures of the hovercrafts that the hubs are using, so I've like swiped them over to Ada.
Yeah, we'll say for the sake of this that like y'all can like and yeah, as you finish like what Becker is basically taking detailed notes, as well as the Inevitable is also taking various notes on this and recording some of this stuff, and basically taking any amount of data that you were able to recover and starting to like run it through. Becker nods. He says, all right, well, while you were gone, I've been in touch with the other fleets and with Miris down on the surface, and she's agreed to allow us to use this as a staging point. The other fleets will begin converging. It'll still be a bit before they get here. So for the time being, we're just sitting tight.
How much time do you think?
I'm not entirely sure, considering that nobody's gave any specific locations.
Are we saying like days or like weeks?
Probably not weeks.
Okay.
But as basically everyone sort of went borderland or border worlds, but stuck relatively close by, just kept on the move. So we're talking probably more days, maybe a week at most.
Because we were given
That's all the time we can spare, really.
we were given kind of an odd lead that might be our next steps after this. We could maybe use those days for.
Yeah, actually, that's a very good point as well. I'll swipe those coordinates to Becca. Apparently, Sulon heard something the day we took down a conduit. Almost, I think they said quite literally the exact moment we did.
Interesting. You as you like take a closer look at what Sulon gave you, by the way, you're seeing that it's not just it isn't just the coordinates. You also note that there's some additional data in there of like what appears to be sort of like an it's hard to say exactly what it is, because it looks like whatever it was translated into like data that you can understand. So it's not like any kind of particular energy signature or anything like that, but it is essentially, it has been translated into that. And what you see is an analysis of the region where the prime conduit was located, and some of the like any of the significant events that took place there on a like on a scientific level, such as the destruction of the conduit and any kind of sort of release of energy that came from that, the formation of the anomaly that came as a result. But additionally, you see time-stamped from like roughly after you see all of the like energy signatures of departing vessels, there is another energy signature that is pretty much, Bina, just at a glance, it is indicative of the presence of another vessel, seemingly out of nowhere. Like there's no trace of it arriving. It was just there, and then it left.
It flies out of the anomaly.
And then
my notes from season 2.
And then
Wait, what'd you say?
I said it's from the end of my notes from the last episode of season 2. Elsewhere, a ship flies out of the anomaly.
Okay.
You can see that whatever, like, it's not like it's tracking the energy signature of the ship, because that would be impossible, especially from whatever the distance that Sulon is from it. But whatever Sulon was tracking has basically been translated into that same kind of like thing, as a way of basically giving you some version of the information that Sulon has, even if it's not, strictly speaking, scientifically accurate. You can see
as soon as Bina saw it, I think she would be like, "It's a ship." Like, she would just say that out loud to like when it showed up.
Becker looks at it and says, "Yeah," and it looks like it came out of, well, nowhere. So, the anomaly.
The anomaly.
Yep.
He kind of looks at you, Taeyeon, and just says, "Have you ever seen anything come out of out of the anomaly before?"
No, I don't think I have. I've only ever seen it essentially eat everything, but I could look through. We still have the readings. I can go through it with Ada.
Ada
and
nods,
see if
and
we
she
have
just
anything.
says, "I've never seen anything like that. And if that kind of thing is possible, then that changes everything that we know about what the anomaly is or could be, which is basically nothing to begin with."
Yeah, this does definitely makes me feel like we were under the assumption that the anomaly essentially ate or destroyed anything that it came in contact with, but at least from my guess of looking at this, it seems to be taking things. If something can pass out of it as well as go into it, it seems to be more of a passage than just pure out full out destruction.
Doorway of some kind.
The
Like
inevitable
a tunnel.
Yeah, the inevitable frowns, and he just, alternatively, there was a pretty significant scientific advancement that took place in that area. That prime conduit was made, and while we know how conduits work, well, we know that the results of how they work. There's still so much we don't know. Forget the prime conduits. Just nobody's seen one except for the Voxora since humans entered the galaxy some 1,300 years ago. It's entirely possible that, and add to that the anomaly of the fact that this was a constructed one. Who knows? There's a real possibility that wherever that ship came from, maybe it's not coming from the anomaly, could have been from the last residue of a collapsing event horizon of that conduit when it opened.
Oh, that's a bit worrying then, because they clearly made this conduit to bring something here, and if something made it through, it might end up being an issue later on.
They said it was a lost voice. That doesn't sound.
Maybe it was familiar to them. Something they hadn't heard in a long time. Heard with all four hands, air quotes.
Ada tilts their head and goes, it could be just opportunity, right? Hijacking the signal, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Something else trapped somewhere, latched on to the collapsing gateway and used it to come through. We
Whoever
don't.
it was, they're probably desperate. I imagine traveling through a collapsing gateway is dangerous.
Probably not something that you want to do on a regular Tuesday morning, but
Yeah. Okay, I mean,
Someone's here following a last resort, last ditch effort. Something, someone.
I suppose all you can really do is maybe check out the site it happened at. It's been a while since, so I don't think we'll find any readings, but maybe I don't know. Maybe they stopped death somewhere nearby.
Abriel sort of clears her throat and says, first things first, before anyone goes anywhere, you all need a rest, especially you, and she points at you, Tan.
Yeah, no, I desperately need it. I'm very tired.
Well-
I'm a sleeping man walking.
We'll run the data, or they'll run the data, and in the meantime, maybe get a better idea of what you're all looking at. Becker nods. He says, yeah, that sounds like the best course of action right now. I know we have a limited amount of time, but that all the more reason why we shouldn't take any chances without knowing as much as we can.
Sounds good.
If anyone has any urgent information or data they want to get out of our ally, Trethaway, I would ask now.
Wire stands up and looks at all of you, and then does, without a word, leaves the bridge.
Anger?
Yes.
Okay.
Kept down, but not necessarily in control.
That's all. I am going to sleep. I'm exhausted.
Ada looks at you and just sort of grabs your hand and squeezes and just says, go, we've got this.
I know you do.
Mason,
Walk out.
Mason, who it's not been 24 hours, so Mason, who does not look like Mason, it's just be like, well,
I forgot you had a
I'm just
disguise.
gonna
about
go.
that.
I'm gonna just go grab a shower. See you in the. And Mason's forgotten.
Edgy dizzy.
I'm gonna grab a shower, maybe grab some food and coffee, maybe a drink. See you all later.
See ya. Peach leans back, kind of leans back in her seat, and I want to try to see into Trethway's office if we have time. I want to see if
Okay.
Onira's there.
We'll have to hold on to that for next time.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
right now, Taeyeon,
I didn't notice the time.
you return to your bunk, and like you are out the moment you hit the mattress. Like the moment you hit the bed, you are out. And once again, as you have many times since it was since you saw it in the vision granted to you when you in the events at the Prime Conduit, once again you see the moment where your life changed forever. When you, as a child, walking through the caves on Desh, your homeworld, found yourself in some kind of ancient ruin and began exploring, and before long found some sort of a chamber of some kind, some almost amphitheater-like chamber. And upon entering it, as you kind of walk down towards the center, the lowest part of the room, there is that sudden bright flash of light as the air in front of you seems to shatter, and a wave of energy comes pulsing out of it, shooting you back, throwing you off of your feet. But once again, unlike in that memory that you experienced, this time, once again, you see another figure opposite the chamber from you, also being thrown to the ground, but not from the blast that was throwing you, but perhaps another blast in another time in the same place. And as you see this happen, there is a moment as your eyes meet, and you watch as the eyes of the other suddenly darken and become voids, where suddenly the only thing that you can see in the eyes of this individual is a bright, shining point like a distant star in each of the eyes where the pupil should be. And as the light subsides, you suddenly wake with a jolt in the cot in your quarters. There's no one around, just the sounds of the ship. But that lingering sensation, like you were making eye contact, like you saw and were seen, it stays with you for a few minutes, half an hour, however long it takes for you to fall back to sleep. And even then, though you manage to rest, your sleep is fitful, plagued with visions of a strange individual, a strange creature. And that's where we'll pick up next time.
Ooh,
Oh,
okay.
wow.
Okay.
Oh
Okay.
boy. Okay.
Horrific.
I just want to rewind.
I have many questions. Okay.
All right, everybody. Well, that's the end of the episode. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, this sure was an episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, a lot was learned.
Yep.
And so much was not learned. I have so many questions.
Before we go, I'm gonna rehash my my announcements and reminders from the beginning of the stream. What's happening here? How I don't understand how to do words. Did I major in English? No. Yes, I did. So, this coming Tuesday, there will be no episode of Into Deep. Everybody is many of the cast are sort of running around or out of town, so there will not be an episode. So this Tuesday there will be nothing. However, we will be able to see the most recent episode on YouTube on Saturday, as usual. Speaking of this weekend, we also have our first Beyond the Roll short shot, the very first part 1 of our Tales from Night City, featuring Cam Phantasmic and Jace. That will be up on Patreon on Sunday. I think it's early in the morning. I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure it'll be in the morning Pacific time. So you'll be able to see that then. You will also be able to see part 2 of that a week from then, also on Patreon on the following Sunday. This Friday for Ramblemancy, we will be joined by special guest B Zelda. We'll be talking about connecting through content creation and tabletop, and I'm very excited to talk about that. So you'll be able to catch that this Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time, right here on this very channel. I'm very excited for that.
That's gonna be so cool.
Yeah. That's pretty much it as far as our announcements. Remember to, if you have not already, join the Discord where you can get updates and reminders about all of this stuff. And yeah. A reminder that the best way to support us right now is on Patreon, and it is the best way not just for us but also for you, because you get a bunch of cool stuff as well. So yeah, this is especially a good time to join the Patreon, because you will be getting some additional content from some of our previous programming. And yeah, all I will say is that the next Beyond the Roll, I will repeat what I said at the beginning. The Discord has some really weird timing, and if you know. So that's all I have to say about that. So we're gonna try to head off here real quick, because it is late. But thank you so much, everybody, for coming and hanging out with us tonight. We will hopefully see you on Friday for Ramblemancy with special guest B Zelda. But if not, we'll see you the next time you decide to come roll with us. Good night and good zone, everyone.
Good night.